everyone, and welcome to Season 2, Episode 36 of Pro Wrestling's Top 50. I'm your host, Travis McNeil, and today we continue our countdown of the top 50 matches in Impact Wrestling history with match number 15 on our list. I know I've mentioned before in my series I do here on YouTube that occasionally I'll get a match that I feel kind of destroys my street cred a little bit, for lack of a better term, and I think we've finally hit that point with TNA. As match number 15 on our list is the final deletion between Matt and Jeff Hardy from the July 15th, 2016 episode of Impact. This one is going to be a little bit polarizing. You either love the Hardy universe or you hate it. I don't find that I've encountered there to be much, middle ground or in between there. This match now 5 years later, I don't know if it's, for better or worse, the legacy that it's created has had a positive or a negative impact overall on pro wrestling. I think that kind of depends how you feel about, the cinematic style of wrestling. But I mentioned in the Motor City Machine Guns and Generation Me video that they were really ahead of the curve with that kind of cinematic style through TNA Reaction. This match, though, took that groundwork and just did it on a completely, different level. Very similar to what Lucha Underground, had really just started doing at the time. Lucha Underground was still, relatively new. I think that maybe they had started their second year at this point. But really for it to be used, outside of that realm, it was really the Hardys that did that, along with, Jeremy Borash and all of the TNA production staff. This match, I think it is remarkable. I think it's funny. I think it's creative. I think it's really well done. I completely respect the opinion of anybody that would disagree from that. Like I said, your mileage will certainly vary. But I was actually surprised by how well it held up. I'm not a huge fan of the cinematic style of matches. Hardy has done this thing in the WWE with Bray Wyatt, and we've seen those WWE takes on these matches with the the Boneyard match, the Firefly Funhouse, and everything like that. He's done this in AEW as well with Sammy Guevara, and the Stadium Stampede in a way as well, and I really enjoyed that one. I had that as an episode of the top 50 matches of 2020 countdown on the first season. So, I think that there's merit here, and I think kind of looking at how well it holds up, how I still found it entertaining today, and how, again, for better or worse, influential it is, and how this style kind of helped carry wrestling through COVID. I think it is a more than worthy inclusion on this list, and I think it's a more than worthy inclusion being as high on the list as it is. And part of that reason, too, is what this match meant to Impact Wrestling at the time. Again, I've been a fan, TNA, start until now, varying levels, of interest through that period. 2016, my interest was minimal. It was another, it feels like every couple of years we get to this point, but that felt like a period where, Impact was really on its deathbed. Coming in out of the end of 2015, it really seemed like, the promotion was finally on its last legs. And then the final deletion happened. And again, if you weren't a fan at that point, you really, I mentioned this with the Ultimate X, you really don't understand the buzz that this match carried, and TNA or Impact did a really, really good job in capitalizing on that. They did all of these little teaser videos of the final deletion is coming. They did a really cool kind of marketing campaign where, reaction videos were kind of a big thing on YouTube at the time. So they had like reaction videos of their roster watching this match, right? Because it was pre-taped, and again, it really kind of had that momentum going into it and they did some little vignettes and stuff building this up. They did a contract signing at the Hardy compound and everything like that. So people's interest was piqued. It was there. And I know this episode got a lot of viewers, and I remember the discussion, on the message boards and on Twitter and everything like that afterwards. Again, for better or worse, some favorable comments, some not, but it had everybody talking, and it helped, revitalize TNA a little bit at that point, even though the Hardys would, end up a year later, going back to WWE. At the time, this got that buzz that I think they were looking for. The Hardys would do this again a couple times in Impact. They would do Delete or Decay with the Decay faction, which was great as well. Maybe not as good as this one, but again, similar style, really, really great television. And they would do the tag team Apocalypto match at the end of 2016, which kind of covered almost a whole episode from the Hardy compound, leading this big, multi-team match that the Rock and Roll Express involved. And, again, it was really cool. It's really good television. It's all worth a watch if you can track it down or if it's, available on Impact Plus. But this, kind of felt like the OG. So they build it up throughout the course of the show with these various vignettes. It starts with King Maxwell, Matt Hardy's son's birthday party. Matt Hardy talks about a candle and, all the symbolism that this candle holds. We go to Jeff Hardy's house where, he's doing lawn work, in his big kind of artsy Jeff Hardy logo on a ride mower. And then Vanguard 1, which is Matt Hardy's drone, shows up and displays a hologram of Matt Hardy, who, is challenging Jeff Hardy to come to the Hardy compound and compete in this final deletion where one person would own the Hardy name and the other would be deleted forever. So the whole thing is just silly. Again, it's really creative, it's really cheesy, but it's great. Matt Hardy's, orgasmic, we'll call it, facial expressions in this is unbelievable. We get the famous quote of, Senor Benjamin, prepare the battlefield for massacre. And we get vignettes of Senor Benjamin, who I believe is Rebby Sky, Matt Hardy's wife's father. And he's, putting fireworks and weapons under the ring and dumping gasoline on everything. It's all pretty ridiculous. We switch to nighttime and Matt Hardy's in a ring playing a violin. And, when Jeff Hardy eventually shows up, we again get the classic line of, Brother Nero, I knew you'd come, right? One thing that I actually kind of forgotten about, though, is this starts as a wrestling match. So they're in a ring, they do some wrestling, they do some near falls and kickouts off the Twist of Fate and a Swanton Bomb and whatnot. And Jeff Hardy hits like a crazy, crazy Swanton Bomb out of a tree through like a ladder bridge in the ring and only gets two. And I'd forgotten all about the in-ring portion of this match because of all of the absurdity that would follow. But again, it was actually kind of engaging. It makes it seem a bit more like a match than, just this weird cinematic brawl. So they end up going into the fireworks fight, which again was kind of a big teaser for this, of them shooting Roman candles at each other and running around. Matt Hardy, kind of takes coverage under a dilapidated boat, as he, so eloquently refers to it as. They fall into a lake, which we would later learn is the lake of a reincarnation that allows Jeff Hardy to come back out as Will-O-the-Wisp. He gets tased by Senor Benjamin, which allows Matt Hardy to, come back out of the water. And cover Will-O-the-Wisp for what we think is the finish, only for him to pull the mask off and, reveal it's Senor Benjamin in the Will-O-the-Wisp outfit. And that lets Jeff Hardy come back into things and choke out Matt. And then the finish, we get to this match is typical, Jeff Hardy fashion. He goes for the big spot, he climbs, there's, a Hardy Boys kind of logo set up. He climbs that to try to deliver a Swanton Bomb off of it. Rebby Sky comes out and hands Matt Hardy the candle from, Maxwell's birthday party. And then we get the big, kind of horror movie twist ending, M. Night Shyamalan Saw finish, whatever you want to call it, video package that goes back to the start when Matt talks about this candle, and it's interspliced with all these old Hardy Boys clips. And Matt Hardy uses the candle to light the gasoline that Senor Benjamin had put everywhere earlier. It engulfs the entire Hardy Boy logo in flames, which causes Jeff to fall off into a pile of dirt, allow Matt Hardy to get the pinfall victory and become the sole owner of the Hardy brand before these guys would eventually, reconcile and come back together again later in the year. This match is wacky, it is unique, it's entertaining, it is groundbreaking, it is influential, it revitalized the career of the Hardys, it revitalized interest in Impact Wrestling at the time, and it is match number 15 on our list for those very reasons. I'll be honest, I'm not completely sure if this match is available on Impact Plus. If it is not, though, TNA has posted it on their YouTube channel, which I will link on my Twitter. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Wrestling50 for a catalog of previous posts, as well as whenever there are free matches from the videos that we discuss. I do post them on there, and Impact has had a plethora of those in this series so far. You can subscribe to my channel here on YouTube so that you never miss a video, and you can please join me again tomorrow as we continue to count down Pro Wrestling's Top 50. Top 50.